racism attached to immigrants based off of the perception of Black Americans in America?
I'm going to shut that down right now, Tammy. That is not true. The whole reason we in the Caribbean, we don't even understand racism. We don't deal with racism. When we come to America, that's when we realize, okay, wait, we're Black and this person is white and this person is this and this person is that. We don't deal with racism.
My girl, why you gonna tell people lie like that? Hey y'all, Gravity, any day above ground, live it. So you already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, share, like, and subscribe, because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Boy, oh boy. So this Fox Soul deal that they had on yesterday, Tammi Mac show, had on brother Marcel, who's running for Congress in South Carolina, and Tariq Nasheed. Had them going against Haitian congressional candidate from PG County, Maryland, and an immigration lawyer from Guyana who lives in Atlanta. I'm focusing this commentary, folks, on the woman, Miss Kinda Volleza. And Kinda, you know, wanted to play ignorant with this there's no racism in the Caribbean trope. And I'm not understanding that someone who I'm going to assume at least a good chunk of her life was raised in the Caribbean, for you to say that there's no racism in the Caribbean was quite disingenuous. And shout out to brother Tariq for pointing her in that direction, that there is racism down there. And the clearest example we can show is Haiti and the Dominican Republic. But, you know, with my Caribbean background, I said, let me go a little further. So, like I said, Miss Kinda Volleza, she's a Guyanese immigrant. Now, according to her bio that you see on the screen, folks, she used to be in the realm of journalism and politics while she was in Guyana. Even said during an interview with Voyage ATL that she was at the height of both of those professions and subject matters when she decided to switch to law. Folk, now there's one thing you know about me. I do my research, so I look this up. Ma'am, if you were in those journalism and political circles in Guyana, how in the hell can you sit up there and lie and say there was no racism when your two major parties, the People's Progressive Party and the People's National Congress, have a long history of being racist to each other?
We don't deal with racism.
Because the PPP is catered to the East Indians and the People's National Congress are catered to the Afro-Guyanese, what they call it. You're going to tell me you were in those political circles and you did not see this? That's what you're going to say and try to lie to the people with. Okay, let's play that game. So, on your screen is an example of what I said about there being racism down there in Guyana. Now, the ERC did a report and found that the Afro-Guyanese were being denied loans, so much so to the point that they didn't even bother to go get these loans anymore. And that was the justification for, I guess, the East Indians to say, oh, well, we're not discriminating against them for loans. They're just not applying. Yet we've come to find out that, yes, they were being discriminated against because they all thought that the Afro-Guyanese weren't going to pay back the loans. So they would just quickly deny them. Yeah, but you were in journalism and politics down there. You did not see this. You did not hear of this. You just chalked it up to the game, right? Okay. Let's continue.
We don't deal with racism.
No racism, huh? Your two big parties can't even get together and raise your country's flag. And I think the other flag was one of whoever's in power. But according to you, there's no racism in the Caribbean, right? Okay. Say less. Here we go. Let me see you dispute this.
We don't deal with racism.
I know you're going to say, you haven't been on the island. You haven't been home because Guyana's not an island. You haven't been home. So you probably didn't hear about this story, but it says, "We are Guyanese, not barbarians," says opposition leader as vigilante justice erupts over cutlass murders of 3 Berbice teenagers. Now, for those who don't know what cutlass is, that is a Caribbean word for the machete, usually used by the Trinidadians and the Guyanese. So this was September 9th. Now, these murders happened, I believe, on the 6th of that month. The Berbice region of Guyana was in turmoil yesterday, and President Ali was facing a major security crisis just over a month since taking office after a prolonged post-election struggle to take office. It all started last Sunday when 2 teenage boys, Isaiah and Joel Henry, ages 16 and 19, in number 3 village, West Coast Berbice, went to pick coconuts from their family coconut patch. When they didn't return, okay, here's where you're going to tell me that this wasn't. The young men were discovered with chop wounds about their bodies, including to their faces. A number of men were taken into custody by the police, including the owner of the coconut farm where the boys' bodies were found. The suspects have not been named. Now, yesterday, Haresh Singh, a 17-year-old grandson of one of the accused, was also found dead, hacked to death, having apparently been attacked while driving to work on a motorcycle, which was found burnt out. Yeah, but you're going to tell me there's no racism.
We don't deal with racism.
Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Guatemala, Panama, which is a big one, Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, Cuba, any one of those countries that I picked that are in the Caribbean, there is racism. Y'all's favorite islands you want to go to, St. Martin, the Dutch are preferred over the black people that live there. Antigua, same thing. Aruba, should I say more? But you want to sit on a national platform and say what you said because you think black folks in this country, with what especially the FBAs have gone through, you think you're just going to be like, oh, well, the Caribbean's a better haven, what? Are you serious, man? This is why people that are propped up on TV, this is why we watch you and check your paperwork when you end up on TV. See, Fox Soul and the Fox Corporation, they brought Marcel and Tariq on because Tariq has a big name online. That's guaranteed to spike the views. Marcel Dixon, he's been making waves online. Let me tell you something that you probably didn't know, ma'am. I interviewed that brother. They're scared of him in Washington. And I called up Washington and I confirmed that. They know of this man. He gets in, they're going to have a problem that they're ill-equipped to deal with. But see, you are an avatar. You and the other brother, you two are avatars of the progressive Negro, the approved Negro. Y'all the ones that want to run around and say there's no color. We're all one. Y'all use that Jamaica montage, that Jamaica motto, out of many, we are one. It doesn't work like that in the Caribbean. That's something they say so they can have the tourist money come in. And don't get me wrong, I love Jamaica to death. That's my lineage. But I'm one of the few people outside of Jamaica that will call things out. Jamaica has a skin bleaching problem. That's rooted in racism. Vice TV did a whole documentary on them, talking about, oh, we get better opportunities. Oh, we get better shots at love. That's racism. That's rooted in self-hate. They prefer the British and the Chinese over everybody else on that island. Guyana, I just gave you 2 instances of racism being blatant. So for you to say that you were in the political and journalism circles and you didn't see any of this, and talking about, oh, when I come up here now, we don't understand this racism, so I'm going to stay out of it. No, the reason why you're staying out of it is because you don't want your ills to show up. This is the same thing that happens with them Nigerians when they want to come over here and call black Americans akata, all that. Because they know, they think most of, especially the FBAs, they think they're going to stand down when they say something like that. But they're like, nah, guess what, brother? I can go on YouTube right now and see you beating on your women up in the Northwest. I can see y'all getting your ass kicked by the Asians. You can't even go. They come into your neighborhood, prop up shop, and you can't even shop there. We're not the same, man. We're not the same. You should never, never, never go on an interview and try to espouse that there's no racism in the Caribbean when anybody can do a Google search. Anybody can go on YouTube. Anybody can go on Twitter and pull up your country and go down the list. This was very disingenuous, and this is why I understand why a lot of FBAs and freedmen and B1 do not trust Caribbean and African immigrants, because they say things like that to appeal to a white audience. And what made it even more egregious, man, I'm going to end off with this. You said that same talking point that I didn't hear from black conservatives, but you put that on a quote unquote black channel in front of black people. Like, even Tammi Mac had to be like, I think it was either you or the other brother who said something about the police. And she was like, you got to kind of understand, black people dealing with the police is a constant thing here. I'm paraphrasing what she said. So trust and believe, when she got off this interview, she would look back on it and it's like, that chick was being disingenuous. Now, credit to you for doing your immigration law thing. Not taking that away from you. I'm only attacking you based on what you said in that interview about racism. Because you've been in this country long enough to see the racism. Hell, you live in Atlanta. The fact that you thought that was cool to say that, and you saw what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, that didn't spark something that happened down there, which I just read about those 2 young boys that got killed just going to go get coconuts. Ahmaud Arbery was jogging around the neighborhood and going into undeveloped houses. Amir Locke was killed sleeping. We may have, you were better off saying we have similar problems, but it was not as bad. Even then, you wouldn't have been checked. Well, except me, I would have checked you, but most people would have accepted that. But the fact you said, when we come up here, we can't understand, we don't see racism. Why? Because you live in Buckhead? Oh, you live in Buckhead. Should I go through the racist incidents up in Buckhead? We'd be here for another 10 minutes. You need to go do some research, man. You seriously need to go do some research. I think you need to go reconnect with Guyana, because I think you're trying to give it this glamorized Caribbean view, and that's not the case. But anyway, let me get up out of here. You already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, share, like, and subscribe, because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Take care. Stay safe. I'm out.
We don't deal with racism.